Okay, people, I wanted to show you 3 methods for getting the gap out of a board. I'm almost done with this part, and I'm using a winch strap, and I don't know if I'll be able to use the winch strap on the other half of the floor, but I've got a gap on this side, so I just run a strap underneath the entire floor, and it comes up on the other side there. And then every time you put down a board, you just move the strap, to hold that board in place. And then as you winch it tight, it'll get that gap out of there. And we're talking about this gap here. So most of these I've been able to get a lot of the gap out with just the winch. So that's one method. The other method, if you can't use the winch strap, another thing you can use is what I'm going to call this the hammer and boot method. So using your mallet, use a rubber mallet, don't use a regular hammer. This is just pine, and if you use a regular hammer you'll damage it. And the mallet will probably damage it too, just a little bit, but not like the regular metal hammer. So what you do with what I call this boot method, this actually works pretty well usually. You stand on it like at an angle here with your boot, and then you hit it with your hammer. I don't know if you can see. I've actually got that gap halfway closed. So if this was the only thing you could do, this would work pretty good. And I guess your boot just holds it in place, the hammer sort of pinches it, and then you could just use your nail gun. So that's method number 2. Method number 3 is this, we'll try it here somewhere, this pry bar. So what you do with the pry bar, it's one of these cheap pry bars you can get anywhere, is you jam it underneath there, and then when you lift it, you hold it tight. You can see, I don't know if you can see that gap, but it's disappearing. So yeah, that's pretty good. So then you're just using this pry bar. Let me see if I can back out a little bit here. And you're just kind of using it as a lever, and the lever's pushing against the nose of that board. And then, and while you're holding it there, you just get your nail gun and hammer, put a nail in there. So that's 3 methods that I use to get these boards pretty tight. This pry bar, the hammer, the mallet and the boot, and this winch strap. So anyway, just some tips I picked up. I'm sure they make a $100 tool that'll do the same thing, but it's a cheap and effective method that I like to use.